Hello, I'm Debbie Bell Hosking for FinextraTV at NextGen Nordics 2024 in Stockholm. And I'm talking to Megan Hild of NICE Actimize. We're going to be chatting about the evolution of fraud detection. Megan, a big welcome.
Thank you.
There's so much exciting discussion going on about fraud detection, but let's first of all start off with how the changes in innovation and regulation are shaping this space.
So we're seeing a lot of new regulation coming in, particularly say in the UK with the PSR and the regulations around keeping victims whole and putting the consumer in the centre of fraud protection. Fraud in general has it's always been with us, but it's evolved a lot recently. COVID in particular revolutionised the fraud space with the increase in digitisation. So we had a lot of payments, everything moved online. You know, the bricks and mortar banks closes, everything goes online, and the fraudsters came online. And we also saw the rise of the citizens fraudster here, of being able to come in and actually, it looks like a victimless crime, to steal some money from a bank and to do things like that. So against that backdrop, we're seeing the regulators starting to pick up and across Europe as well as the UK, and some interest in the US as well around looking to see what regulation that they can put in.
So, you know, you're talking about how things have changed since the pandemic, for example, and increased digitization. So what is the state of play in terms of fraud detection now? And how does it compare to previous years?
So now we have a sort of fraud as a system. We take signals from all over the place coming in. Previously we used to be mainly focused on transaction monitoring and the information just coming in, you know, if we go back, it used to do your online banking, and you know, I can remember my father-in-law sitting down and with his piles of papers and doing his banking, and that kind of sort of once a week activity to do that. Now we have a bank in our pocket. You take your mobile app out, and you know, you can sort of log on, you know, on the train on the way into work in the morning to make a payment or to do a payment. All the contactless payments, all the fintechs and the third-party providers providing all these innovative services. Payments moving faster, so instant payments. So again, I'm British, so in the UK we've had instant payments as a fact of life for a while, but across Europe they're taking off, and you know, we've had today with some of the speakers today talking about the rise of instant payments in the Nordics and going through, and the challenge this brings. You know, the phrase instant payment, instant fraud, it's a nice phrase, it is a fact of life. But having to put the right amount of friction in for customers as well is important. Again, to hark back to what we were saying in COVID, a lot of digitisation, everything wanted to be super smooth, because now how do you attract customers? You attract it to your digital service. You don't have a nice branch and your customers coming into the branch so much. So a nice digital service, and the things to be, well, we don't want to challenge customers, want to do this, we want to get customers in through the door, and now what we're seeing is that there is much more focus on protecting those customers. If it's very easy to onboard, it's very easy to onboard a mule or very easy to onboard a fraudster. And maybe having some more controls around who you onboard, more controls on what they can do and when they can do it helps.
It's a hard task.
Yes, yes.
So let's look ahead now to the future. What actions should fraud fighters be taking to protect the organisations they work for, looking ahead to the future?
So some of this we're going to be forced to do, with regulation coming in saying you must do this. But as an industry, one thing we do need to do is collaborate more, and that's whether it's between vendors or between banks, regulators. We need to work together to fight the fraudsters. I mean, the fraudsters do. You know, the dark web and everything else, sort of sharing all this information and data, how to break banks, you know, phishing kits and everything else. And we need to look at doing collaborative things, maybe more consortium data, things like the EBA's FPAD project, other consortium data from other sources, bring this information together to help us find the fraud networks, smash the mule rings, and actually work together and to protect the customers, our friends, our neighbours, and our customers.
Megan, thank you, and I think that sums it up really well, not just for the future, but for now, that collaboration that needs to come together to fight fraud.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.